Hi legends and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to drive through the processes of how to get ready for a cocktail competition, what it takes for that, with a superstar, Panda from Waiana Bar, owner and passionate bartender, um, is going to drive us through. Waiana is a tiki bar and it was created by him in the very heart of Zurich. So I'm most interested because we met during a national final in a cocktail competition on Nika of last year, Nika Perfect Serve. So I'm really excited to drive through what it takes to get ready for a cocktail competition. Maybe there are some things that we do different. Let's just put it in the mix and let's craft the best podcast for you. Let's
Hi
start.
guys, happy to be here. Thanks, Alessandro. So yeah, cocktail competitions. Since we opened Waiana last year in July, I try to participate every single cocktail competition, which there is in Switzerland. There is two reasons why. First and most important, why you should enter every cocktail competition is build connections, test yourself, boost your creativity, and it also teaches you how to be organized in any possible way which you can use in your daily life or in the bar where you work. As Alessandro said, we met in Nika, which is a very, very unique competition because there you cannot prepare that much. You cannot prepare your homemade ingredients and that's most like a role play, which tests your ability, how you work behind the bar. There are other cocktail competitions.
Let me just get through. Like the Nika Perfect Serve was the competition for which three judges were just coming in the bar where you were having a competition and faking that there were some roles. And before that, there was also a very cool part, which maybe it's kind of forgotten, but when you go to competition, it's kind of an added value. They do master classes to learn. They go through a lot of other situations. In this case, it was a very special one because it was about facial recognition and facial traits. So how to figure out whether your eyebrows are straight, whether your forehead is bigger, and how to define this kind of traits for customers to quickly read them and figure out whether you should be a little bit more innovative, a little bit conservative. Maybe you should try to upsell to somebody by their side or to them straight to just improve a little bit on this side as well. And the competition as a whole, it was all made on the fly. So you just need to use these ingredients to craft cocktail designed. To me, since I'm Italian, they came and they asked me to make cocktail that tastes like gelato, for example. You cannot forecast that you will get this request, for example. To you, probably they went a little bit fancy. I remember that you were having very nice whiskey-based tiki cocktail style.
Yes.
So yeah, like I think it's an amazing kind of point to start.
Exactly. It's also interesting how you react in those situations because, as we mentioned, tiki bar. So Mai Tai is not something which you forget what the ingredients are. I remember on Nika.
And you forget the end of the night, though.
That's probably. I remember on Nika, I did a whiskey Mai Tai for Wolfgang, who owns Tails Bar, who's also a big tiki guy, and I forgot the orgeat.
True story. Like
I give you a couple of seconds to let that sit in.
no, actually, sometimes it's very real what he's saying right now because I remember that in the first cocktail competitions, I didn't have like the structure of going through the preparation to the phase, the ideation, putting the story behind, putting the ingredients, making the research, and everything else we are going through in a moment. But in the first competition, my main problem was that I was having the jigger that was shaking like this, and I was trying to pour like in the jigger that I was like, oh my god, this is going to spill for sure. Like I could not hold my hand straight. It was like vibrating like this, and then I was super in trouble. I also have been looking because many other bartenders, especially when they are beginners, you see them because they don't go there with the feeling, hey, it's like serving other people at the bar. It's just like giving them a unique experience. And then yeah, they also happen to be judges and very cool people. By the way, you are a judge as well. You
Yeah,
didn't.
sometimes, yeah.
So yeah, you are a competitor, but you're also a judge.
Yeah.
So you probably can even give the cut from both sides. At the end, for me, when I'm entering a competition, it doesn't matter it's a worldwide, whether it's a nationwide, a regional hit, or whatever. I always enter with the idea, hey, I just want to make nice drinks. And of course, I'm competitive, so I aim always for victory, but that's personal trait.
That's maybe the most important advice I personally could give to anyone. Obviously, if you enter a competition, you have in your mind that would be nice to win. Would be nice to win, go to the world final, represent yourself, the country, your bar, etc. Whenever I went to a competition with a straight mind, I'm gonna win this, I messed up the most all of that competition. Whenever I went to a competition, I'm just gonna have fun. Obviously, showcase my drinks, try to make it top notch, everything from presentation to preparation, cocktail creation, and service. Those were the ones where I always finished the top 3 and sometimes won. So, if you want to go for a competition, try to have fun, really be creative, don't overthink it, and have fun, and don't go there to win.
Okay, these are definitely two different perspectives,
Yes.
I would say. Yes, but yeah, it's probably quite right what you're saying. Then, I mean, what I actually mean with competing for P1 is always that I always go there with the competitive mindset. I always try to just take it kind of light, like not to think, these judges can really make me or break me, because when you have been bartending for 15, 20 years, no result will ever make you or break you. That's the truth. But when you are a beginner and you just want to prepare yourself for the first competition, it can be a little bit overwhelming, I think. So I really feel like we could go from this perspective, starting from, so like, how do you actually get ready for a cocktail competition? You have a cocktail competition, you can enter for this Koruba, which you are judged next week, by the way. How do you get ready as a competitor? How do you get tips for people to actually learn the craft and be on top of the game? Whatever, doesn't matter whether it's game, it's a Simone Caporale or Eric Lawrence kind of competition or competitor, or it's just a beginner. How would you get ready with all of your year of experience for a cocktail competition, saying it to your young self when you were entering your first?
First and most important by any cocktail competition, read what they're expecting from you. I could give you, just from the past 6 months, 3 examples which I entered recently last week, get the result from one that I didn't get through, simply because I didn't read properly what they're expecting.
Like homemade ingredients.
So
like
when they say they're looking for something, let's say eco-friendly, or to zero waste, then try to focus on that and don't forget that they're looking for that. When they're saying that you need to enter with a video with multiple locations, then you don't enter with one location and try to make it funny like I did, because you will not get through. So first and most important, read the competition guideline, read what they're expecting from you, read what kind of drinks are they waiting, they want you to create for them. Take extra special care that if they say maximum 5 ingredients, then you put 5 ingredients, not 6 or 7. That happened in multiple competitions, not with me, thanks God, but a couple of guys just forgot and added just oh, dash of angostura, cool, 6 ingredients, you're out.
But then also in some competitions, you also need to make sure that the ingredients are calculated correctly.
Exactly.
Because the garnish is considered an ingredient. So like the passion fruit inside this cocktail is considered an ingredient for many cocktail competitions. Whereas instead, if you would put it on the side, on a little tray, that would not be considered an ingredient, even if that kind of counts for that. So like in that competition, I had like the seaweed cracker on the side. It was, even if there was no limit because it was all crafted on the moment, I was just kind of covering myself because of past mistakes. Everything counts as an ingredient. You're putting a rim a rimming of salt and saline solution or something, then that counts as an ingredient as well, because it impacts the flavor. So whether you use it as a saline solution inside the cocktail or a rim on the side, it still counts as an ingredient. So then you have like 4 left inside the chemistry of the drink itself.
Bottom line is, the competition you are about to enter, read the guidelines. That's it. Read it and keep it. Then the first part is safe for you. Then comes the second part, obviously. If it's a branded competition, it's from my personal experience, respect the brand. Respect the brand means
they are paying for it.
They are paying for your competition. Probably if you win, they're paying for your whole trip to go to the final.
And if you win, or even if you are there, they are going to take pictures on your own recipes. So you are giving out the concession of using your recipe every single time you do it.
Yeah.
So then they can use it for marketing. They are not making it for free. They are making it with the idea of actually getting money back in the form of your personal professional figure used by them. So you're not just representing yourself, but you're also indirectly representing the brand by being elected as the winner.
Yes. That being said, often I see in competitions, whether I'm a judge or competing, that very, very often people are forgetting that XY brand competition, and in the end cocktail, I cannot feel that ingredient. Or it's fat washed 3 times, infused 2 times, redistilled 5 times, and at the end, the brand which sponsoring your competition disappearing. If it's a branded competition, then the main focus is on the brand.
I've seen that happening.
If it's a rum or a gin without any branding, try to research why is that special, what kind of flavors they have, and play around them. Let them be the main actor. Let them be the star of your cocktail. Trust me, that's a crucial point. If you going to use their products just to hide it behind your amazing handcrafted homemade ingredients, not gonna bring you anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, like sponsoring the brand, representing the brand. If it's distilled, infused, and if it's like distilled and then redistilled, and then they follow the process for which it went through like so many years of aging, this is exactly the profile that you want it to pop. And having extra ingredients in any cocktail, whether you are preparing for a competition, whether you are not preparing for a competition, you're just serving a random creation, or you're making a classic, all the flavors need to make sense. So putting a dash of this because it sounds cool, and a dash of this because it sounds cool. If it does not show in the chemistry of the cocktail that you cannot feel all the ingredients without being a professional sommelier, because that's easy, like you put this and this and this, they're gonna spot it all. I mean, unless they are faking, but probably they are good, So, of course, you want to have the minimum amount of ingredients that give the maximum possible flavor profile. To this, when I use homemade ingredient, many times there is one homemade ingredient set. So if you have an idea of having everything in this cocktail and there are only 5 ingredients, in that fifth one, if there are 5 ingredients and you're having the fifth one, that fifth one has to be the one that includes all the flavors that you are missing, for me.
Yeah, that's actually another very, very good point. As I said at the very beginning, don't overthink it and don't overcomplicate it. I saw also many, many times in competitions. By the way, I've been through somewhere between 30 and 40 cocktail competitions, including world finals, national finals, from the United States through United Kingdom, Spain, Hungary, Switzerland. I saw my fair share of mistakes, and I did my fair share of mistakes.
And we're humans.
Yes, and one of the biggest mistake is also to try to put in one cocktail everything you know, every single technique you learned, and every single ingredients and popular ingredients, because there are obviously trends. Every time when you enter a cocktail competitions, there are trends. Like today, you cannot go to a competition and not finding something with Ras El Hanout spices or tomato water or some cheese foam. and they are fine. You can play with them. I'm not saying that you should not, but try to make the cocktail as easily understandable as possible. Because if you pack the drink with 8 different flavor profile ingredients, from spices, cheese, fat wash, cordial, aerosol, whatever not, at the end, your drink is not enjoyable. And let's not kid ourselves. Branded competitions are looking for drinks which they can possibly use their products to sell, which cocktails they can use. As Alessandro said, you give in your consent, you enter a competition with brands, they might use your recipe.
And they might use you if you win.
Exactly.
So sometimes they are not only looking for me for the cocktail recipe, because they are looking for all the possible cocktail recipes, but then they go and elect the winner following also, it's sad to say, but I think it kind of works, also who is going to represent this brand the best. So if there is the best tasting cocktail, it happened to me once in Canada that my accent was too strong on the Italian side, and there in Canada it was not okay for but I can't say the competition because I don't know. But anyway, yeah, they made this call. I had the best tasting drink by judges' result, but the worst for the presentation because my English was way below the levels that it is now. So it was not good enough. So despite the fact that my recipe probably had been used afterwards because it had absolutely the best result, the best score, the presentation gave me basically a result that was like 2 to 4 out of 10, and the cocktail was like was like in fat 8, was like the best in the score. So I did not win. So probably they used my cocktail for making all the presentations and stuff, but they removed me by making somebody else win because my English was not good enough for the brand, for example. It's hard.
Good point. Very, very good point. Next one, presentation. So we went through. You read the guidelines. Amazing. You respect what they're asking for. Cool. Then you make your recipe. Obviously, the balance is the most important. You should not go to competition with off-balance drinks.
No.
Why would you? So make sure you have time, because they give you time. They tell you that you have 1 month until entry closes. So don't try to make a drink on the last day. That's me.
But
that I'm doing.
If you won't enter the last day, I always enter like in the last 5 hours, even if my recipe was ready 2 weeks before, because I don't give a competitive edge to the competitors that see my entry and then they replicate it for online competitions. But anyway,
99% I enter every competition on the last day. You know what's that? Dumb. Don't do that. You have time. Think about your concept. Try to make your base cocktail. Then invite some friends. Invite some hospitality colleagues. Let them try. Get some feedback and tell them to be honest. Sometimes people say, yeah, it tastes nice. No, it's not. That's why I'm asking. Tell me what is off. Balance, balance, balance. You go prepared with a balanced cocktail, respecting the guidelines. Then the last thing you need, your presentation. By presentation, I mean that's from the judge's side. What I'm looking in a presentation, that you have a story, and by story, I'm not meaning your grandma's garden. I know I'm not that sympathetic with this, but every competition I have at least 3 or 4 competitors with something from the grandma's garden. So you don't have to make up stories. You can.
I literally, for that competition, the guy that won brought a garden, like the size of this table, and brought the garden, saying, it's alive and blah, blah, blah. I really thought it was like a snake or something. I was, what the hell is this guy preparing for the competition? And then it was like a garden with some edible stuff, and I was like, why would you do that? It's a tequila competition in the end. But somehow it paid out. But it paid
sometimes it does. So when we're looking for a story, it doesn't have to be something that happened to you. You can also make up a story. You can also be creative and make up an alternative story. One of my really good friends, actually, he is one of the best storyteller in Switzerland, Roman from St. Gallen. the guy is insane by storytelling, and sometimes he uses real life experiences and memories, and sometimes he creates a character. As long as you have a story from beginning to end, which makes sense with your cocktail, you're good. And then you just have to really prepare. If you have 6 minutes to present 4 cocktails with the backstory, then make sure that you finish in 6 minutes. Last year I ran out 3 minutes from 6. So I made 3 minutes overtime. Why? Because I didn't prepare. So,
usually there are penalties as well if you go
yes,
over time.
or you get disqualified.
Yeah.
So just practice, and that's why you have that 1 month of time to send your cocktail. You have time. Don't wait until the last moment, because you wait until the last moment and you're gonna get rushed. You're gonna make rush decisions, and you will mess up that competition for yourself. And that, I'm talking from experience, I messed up a lot, and probably I will mess up, because that's just who I am.
But you don't
have to be.
You also won a lot, so that's another part.
That's my fourth point after the preparation. That we'll get to that. So yeah, practice, make a good presentation. Good presentation also means that there are no awkward silences, there are no pause in your presentation. You start, you build up, while you are working, while you are pouring, you explain, continuously talking, continuously engage with the jury, with the competitors. The best presentations are the ones when in the room you can hear even a needle drops, because everybody's focusing on you. You can achieve that by talking to them directly without stopping. Of course, if you are shaking, stirring, using a blender, that's that you don't talk. I have Roman who even talks continuously when he's throwing. Amazing. That's really amazing. But of course, then you can pull the audience in. You can tell them, and now I need your help. Cheer me up. Woo! A lot of people do it. I'm doing that also. Obviously, I will not talk while I'm double shaking, because I will run out of breath. That's a good presentation. And of course, on time. And the moment you serve the cocktail, stops your story. That's, for me, 10 out of a 10 presentation.
Yeah.
That's one of the most important. Also, what Alessandro said, in case the brand is looking for some representatives, or, they're open for something, you have the best presentation, you have the best charisma, the best presence, you're gonna get it.
So yeah, it opens up to connections. A cocktail competition opens up to connections, opened up to possibilities, to work career path, to representative, to brand ambassador. It happened to me not during a cocktail competition, but during an upselling competition in a hotel. Then I eventually got the job as Beluga brand ambassador, just because I asked for the details. I sold 802 shots of Beluga vodka in a month. But there is also to say that Saturday only in the Hilton Hotel in Sydney, there was the clubbing, the kind of like Asian nightclub. So pretty cool. And then people were buying it just because I was so exotic or something. So I don't know how I got anyway this kind of job as brand ambassador. I sold 802. The second one had 274 shots, or 374. So I did more than double. And what I didn't know is that I also got in that month top 1 place in Australia and New Zealand for sales of Beluga in any bar. So then they came to me and they were like, yeah, listen, like presentation is good. You sold you sold basically half of the nips of vodka, basically sold this month in Australia on your own. Do you want a job? Yeah, I'm working also as main bartender in the 26th best cocktail bar of the world at the moment, and the one that last year was 26th. This year didn't come out yet, but yeah, I would love to, and that's how I got the job. So cocktail competitions, definitely they work for that in the same kind of purpose.
One of my favorites from this kind of cocktail competition stories, and that's what I learned. Actually, that was the turning point. Long story short, went to a final. Doesn't matter which one. The final was in London, in Oriole Bar.
Cute.
Might heard about that. That time the bar manager was
Cinalli?
No, after Chinali.
After Chinali.
After Chinali, the bar manager was Ali Ali. I mean, probably he has a real name, but Ali Ali. That's how we knew
that
him.
was at the Beaufort bar in Savoy Hotel before. Is it possible? Like
No.
a very little Indian guy.
No. This guy is from Eastern Europe. I don't know exactly from where he's coming from. So when I was there were two guys on charge for Oriola Bar, Ali and Mihail Staffy. He was that time the brand ambassador for Roots.
Okay.
So Ali was in the jury, and that was my absolute last competition. And now I'm going to against whatever I said to you before. Just ignore me for a moment. That was my last competition, and that was in 2017 when I went to the final with preparing my presentation from the second I started until the last second to finish exactly on time with the 4 drinks, with my story, jokes I put on paper to learn word by word the presentation. Never in my life messed up more a final than that one. But after that, Ali told us a story, which is my favorite story, and that's what got me thinking. So in his country, which again, Eastern Europe, I'm not exactly sure which one, he went to a big competition final. He presented his drink with an amazing presentation and happened to be in a jury Luca Cinalli. He didn't win.
My favorite bartender, by the way, Luca Cinalli, of all times.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
He didn't win. If I remember correctly, he didn't even come in the first 3 place. But he was the one who got offered to go to Oriol to work with Cinalli.
Not bad.
Fast forward to days. Okay, he's not anymore there. So fast forward until my time in the competition, Ali was the bar manager of Oriol. Oriol, top 50 bar, I think, since they opened.
Yeah.
And that's when he said, focus on yourself in a competition. Don't go there to win, because you're going to put an insane amount of pressure on yourself. Your goal, your absolute goal by any cocktail competition should be do your best. Do your best. Do your best cocktail, do your best presentation, do your best overall experience, which you can give to the jury and to the audience. If you win, it's a bonus, it's extra, super good. You want something, you go for somewhere in the international final, it's paid, it's like a holiday, but just go there and do your best. That's all you have to aim for, and everything else will come to you. That's my absolute favorite story, how the guy got there.
All right. So like, just to kind of wrap it up a moment, I would say my steps for getting ready for a competition, usually they go to, I see the cocktail competition. But back in the days, I didn't care about the first prize. And now I care about the prizes, because otherwise I am not motivated enough. But that's just because I've been bartending for so many years. Anyway, just look at the competition. Look more or less, if you are beginning, if you can actually deliver what it's asked, if it represents you, if you feel like you can represent the brand in this way. So, for example, if it's a cocktail competition about sustainability and everything else, and you are the kind of bartender that likes to put 2 straws into each long drink because it just makes it nicer for girls to share the drink, then yeah, maybe don't go for the sustainability one. Maybe go for the presentation one, for like the fast presentation or whatever else. So just find anyway cocktail competitions that make sense for you, that you are sure that you can attend, and you can find some added value for yourself. Because in the end, especially when you start, maybe 0.1% of the people in this world will be natural born winners. The other ones will mainly gather experience and gather knowledge. So go there, of course, with the idea to do the best you can. If you think you can shoot for victory, then okay, shoot for victory, but don't have the expectation that you necessarily will have to win. Go there with the idea that you are going to do the best you can, and if you do, then you are already a winner to your own self of tomorrow, because you will have done something for him or for her. In that day, in that month, you got prepared, you got experience, you knew how to present, you got feedback from people, you grew your network, everything will compound in your future. So this is definitely a way. Then ingredients, make sure that you are following the guidelines, because this also means that you are respecting the brand that is respecting you in welcoming in the cocktail competition. You are representing yourself, you are representing the brand, and everything you do with the cocktail, with your personal presentation, with the storytelling you're doing, this in business is called branding. So this is basically the feeling that you give of you and what you sell to the people in front of you. So in a certain way, you are branding yourself every time you are presenting a cocktail at the bar, and you're showing that you are crafty, or that you are minimalistic, or that you are like loud and funny, or that you are very reserved and precise. This everything is basically the branding that you give of yourself as a bartender, and indirectly also the bar that you represent. Therefore, if you're doing for a competition, you are representing the brand that you are getting branded from, essentially, and you are branding and aiming to. So these are the main things for me. Getting ready also means, the way I see it, to go endlessly to getting ready for the competition, to make sure that you stay within the time. You don't have to go completely crazy, because when you get to a bar, it's not going to be the bar that you practice on. So either you go there, you take pictures 2 weeks before, or you find them on the internet, and then you build the setup, and you're sure that everything is going to be where you are. But that is kind of mental, even for me, that I'm pretty accurate. So some people do, by the way, and that is wild, crazy. That is batshit crazy for me, but that's okay. You can also get ready in this type of manner, but at least make sure that you are presenting the cocktail, even if it's just water, or in front of your friends, you're just taking that bottles, even if it's not exactly, but it replicates the procedure. It's gaining you the speed to make the drink while you are talking about the stuff, until it becomes basically automatic. So when you're going to do the presentation and make the drinks, you're not going to think, no, I need to take this, no, what was next? You will do it like making a cosmopolitan, for example. It's bam, 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 shake, flame, bam. It's going to go pretty damn quick. So that's what you need to do, even if it's a completely signature cocktail. Then anything else?
Everything which is said, completely agree. There is one extra small tip from me personally, which I figured out along the way.
Drink
These
2
are
tequila shots before starting.
or 4. Shaking. Handshaking, you might think it will go away with time. As I said, near to or over 40 competitions, my hands are still shaking. Live with it. If you are a shaker, it will shake. If you are not, I saw a couple of months before, a 24 years old bartender, first time cocktail competition. He spoke without shaking the hand. He spoke without shaking the voice. He was calm and collected. It pissed me off. I was like, really? But anyway, either way you are, just live with it. Just learn to live with it. There are things you cannot change. There are things you can change. These are which we told you, or which our opinions are. These are the fundamentals. This is how you start. To have some guideline, to have some base. You do your first competition, your second, your third, and then you're gonna figure out. From all the things we said, what works for me personally the best, and that's not an example to follow when you are starting. What works for me, I see a competition, I think about something, I make sure to wait until the very, very last 2 hours before I enter, then I send my application at the very last second. Then the competition final, if I got selected, the time is coming. Somewhere before, 2 days before, I have to go to present myself and my drink. I start to collect my thoughts. Okay, what garnish I need? Okay, do I have enough glasses? Like last competition, I had only 3 glasses beside of 4. Why? Because I didn't check. Then you go to the competition. I personally, since years, I never prepare. I don't prepare myself with a speech. I know what my drinks are. I know what I want to say approximately, and every single time I improvise. Because I learned from myself that for me it's not working if I learn word by word. You learn word by word, you miss something, you get panicked. For me, it doesn't work. Maybe you will see that for you will also work the improvisation. If it's that, go with it. What we are telling you is the fundamentals. From this point, you start as a competition bartender, and you're gonna figure out what is your style and stick to your style. That's it. That's the best advice I can give. Trust your gut. What tells you. What works for you might not work for anybody else. But if it works for you, you do you.
So I think that's it for today. And if you wanted to have more feedback, you can either stalk Panda,
Or not.
remember, in Waiana Tiki Bar, his own bar here in the heart of Zurich in Switzerland, or leave some comments down below, and you will also find all the Instagram pages of Panda, of the Waiana, and everything else. So that's the perfect way to stay connected for long term. See you next video.